Welcome back to Cryptopia, where we go over the wet and wild happening in NFT land. Today, the biggest scam to ever hit the NFT community. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way in. Now, Solana NFT project rug pulls investors for 1.3 million Dodu, despite civic verification. So this happened not too long ago. This happened actually on this article's from Jan 20th, but this happened Jan the 11th, about a week and a half ago of making this video. And this was one of the biggest rug pulls or biggest scam projects I think there's been. Now, there is that one that happened that was like about 2.2 million where somebody stole a bunch of bases. I think that was the actual creator of bases that it happened to, or someone very closely associated with bases. But that was a little bit different because that was one guy who got robbed for a ton of money. This was a whole community built up with a lot of expectation. It was built around the images of these, what do they call it? The Big Daddy Ape Club, which it's kind of a funny name. And I've seen these types, you have a few different ones. They seem more like the kind of maybe a little bit more badass, a little bit more attitude version of the Bored Apes. And they're the Big Daddy Ape Club. I think I even saw one with a gun at one point, right? So, like, they look cool. They talked about staking, having a DAO, creating a governance token, and phase 2, they're bringing in all this extra shit. And so it sounded good on paper, right? So Civic is a, they operate on the blockchain, and they are basically a verification protocol. They basically, they have it set up so that you have a set of criteria to hit. You got to submit like your ID. You have to submit multiple IDs. You got to submit you actually have to be there, do a 3D rendering of your face so we can verify that that's you, and a bunch of other stuff. They ask for your blood. I'm joking. They don't ask for that. But they do a series of things to make sure that, hey, if you do something like this, they can find you. They can go to the right authorities and they can present this information, and finding you should be like that. That's essentially the whole point of this. There's another one called Rad Rugs that does a similar thing where, there's this community base. So you present all this identification, the community takes a look at it, and then they decide. I'm not sure if Civic works the same way. I don't know if the community really does. I think they just have to submit these things to the protocol, and then they kind of just let it go. And then it's like, okay, cool, you've done all of this. It checks out. I'm sure there must be some sort of community validation for that one as well. But even despite the community validation from Civic, nothing happened. They weren't able to actually stop this from happening or the person just didn't care, or the person who is doing it also doesn't care. I mean, I'm going to assume that the person lives in America, but they might not. And if they don't live in America, or they planned this out, did everything they needed to in America, and then left, there's not really much you can do in terms of finding them, unless you can get involved with other countries where you don't even know where they ran off to. So finding that's going to be difficult. I know they did find some stuff about when they got all the money, it left. They found the wallet. It left the wallet. Ended up on Binance. Contacted the Binance people from Binance, though. We don't know what happened yet, right? So they don't talk. Binance does say that they don't talk too much on these sort of matters because they're dealing with the police and they don't want to express more than necessary. So we might have to wait a little bit to find out. But the reason I'm bringing this up is that there's going to be so many more scams going on as this continues. I mean, this is the digital Wild West. As far as I'm concerned, it's crazy out here, and it's almost a damn near free for all. I come in here, I've got like in just terms of cryptocurrencies, you know what I mean? I've got like individual passwords for every single wallet and every single exchange. I got my stuff scattered among like 5 or 6 or 7 different cryptocurrency exchanges. All have their own password, all have their own 2-step verification, biometrics. I got my VPN when I go on these things. I damn near unplug my computer when I put in, or not my computer, I unplug the internet when I put in my ledger, for example. Like it's a bit extreme, and I even kind of get that, but it's also like, you know what I mean? You don't know when something like this might affect you. And the worst part about this, though, is even all the things I just said wouldn't fucking matter, because at this point, the people have opted in. They chose it, right? So much like the 2.2 Basie link that happened where the owner or whatever had just clicked on the link and got screwed over. These guys handed it to them. They just gave it to them, right? Because they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get a mint. We're gonna be able to make these, and it's gonna be cool. We're gonna have like all this stuff going on, and staking and blah blah blah. And so you're excited. You're excited. These look cool. You're hugely into NFTs. You like the Bored Apes. Here's an opportunity to get in on the Bored Apes before the Bored Apes, when you knew about the Bored Apes, right? Like, this is a mega opportunity that strikes you, and you're like, yes. But obviously, and then it doesn't work. You know what I mean? And well, there goes the rug pull, right? It's like you're super excited, and then you get screwed over. So I just want to make sure that these projects are gonna keep happening like this. There's gonna keep people, and there's no matter what you do, sometimes you're not gonna be able to save yourself. But try not to lose more than you're going to. I think, so, to be frank, I don't want to scare people, but I feel like it's almost like a when is it gonna happen as opposed to if it's gonna happen. And, when it happens, you don't want it to be, huge. And I don't want to scare people with that. I'm not leaving this space anytime soon. Like, I've been making videos on scammy stuff. You know what I mean? Like, even the frog, what was it? What were they even called? The Frog Business Club guys that were just on there. I talked about the Pudgy Penguins. I don't think the Pudgy Penguins is a scam. But they were... it seems like they weren't able to keep up with what they promised, which is a little bit different. It sounds like the guys involved are still there, but they're just not really able to take control of the project and guide it in the direction it has to go. But that's neither here nor there. This is about the Big Daddy Ape Club. And so they're just trying to protect yourself against this stuff. But there's not too much you can do, unfortunately. But when stuff like this happens, it's going to be tough. But you can protect yourself against the little things through research. Even researching this, yeah, granted, they did the civic verification part, but I think civic even says that beyond their verification criteria, they don't really do much more investigating into these people and who they are and where they came from. And I think that kind of falls on people like us to take the time and research these individual people. That's why I like to do that. That's why when, if somebody requests something, I will try and do as much research into it as possible so as to present it transparently enough. I even try not to jump cut if I can avoid it, just so it's one fluid motion, and one fluid video, and you can just see everything that I'm doing as I'm doing it. But obviously that doesn't always the case. So with these things, you got to be careful, and I think the best thing you can do here is just do your due diligence, because especially with something like this, having the multiple passwords and all that's not going to protect you when you hand it to them. So when you're handing somebody your money, especially in NFT land or cryptocurrencies as a whole, you're going to want to just find out who these people are, and from there make your decision, and just hope for the best at that point. Like, even, what I mean, I bought an NFT, like a Goober NFT the other day. I like him. I thought he was cool, and it was just kind of like, yeah, if nothing happens with this, I just think the art's cool, so I got it. But I mean, that's a little bit different. That was already minted and that's already out here. When you're getting into these pre-minted stuff, you're gonna have to find out. I would suggest, if you cannot find significant amount of information on them, and stuff leading back and around, and stuff that's maybe like off, completely has nothing to do with those projects, but like has other work that has been shown to the public in some way. If you can find that, that's good. If you can't find anything on them at all, and they're not willing to reveal themselves, maybe think twice about that project. But don't listen to any stupid YouTuber, all right, online talking shit. The best person you can trust is yourself. And so I just wanted to make sure that I said that, because I'm seeing these scams coming in like all of the time, and it's getting kind of crazy out here. To be honest, it's part of the stuff that I like about it. It's just it's so wild, and you just don't really know what's gonna happen when it happens, and it happens, man. And you just kind of take it on the chin and you keep going. Don't get discouraged. This is a fun space. There's a lot of good people doing some good stuff with some crazy projects that's gonna be like really fantastic in the future. I really believe that. But right now, And you know what? Not even just now, till the end, we're gonna see a lot of bullshit and a lot of stuff like this. You know, just watch out what you're clicking on. Try not to FOMO and try to do as much due diligence as you want or as you need. You know what I mean? Till you're satisfied, right? If it's my video, if it's another guy's video, if it's, you know, researching it online, if it's articles, if it's websites, it's whatever you need to do to be like, okay, cool, this is satisfactory, because more and more of these, as more people get into the space, there's going to be more opportunities to scam people in the space, and it's going to be more scammers getting into the space. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope that I kind of just rambled on about NFT scams for a bit. But I hope if you got this far into it, you understand what I'm trying to get at. Protect yourself. Do your due diligence. If you're going to get into this space, if you're going to spend real fucking money, real world money, make sure your money, you know where your money's going as best as you possibly can. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.